Hello, you're watching the English News program on KPVN. I'm Nguyen and here are today's headlines. Party General Secretary Trong meets Chairman of State Duma of Russia. Army renovates thoughts, awareness and management of training work. Danang attracts more investment to high-tech party. As part of his visit to Russia on the afternoon of September the 7th in Moscow, Party General Secretary Trong met with Chairman of the State Duma of Russia, Vyacheslav Volodin.
The two sides highly value the bilateral cooperation while agreeing that the two legislative bodies should continue to exchange delegations at all levels, working to create favorable legal conditions for handling issues related to traveling, living and working of each country's citizens in the other's territories. Besides bilateral cooperation, the two sides should further enhance coordination and consultation at inter-parliamentary forums such as the IPU and the Asia-Pacific Parliamentary Forum. The two countries' parliaments should also support stronger economic, trade and investment ties and facilitate the implementation of prioritized joint projects while strengthening supervision of the enforcement of agreements between the two governments.
To catch up with the fourth industrial revolution, Vietnam needs to soon kick off the national digitalization, in which the Ministry of Information and Communications must play the leading role. That's stated by Prime Minister Nguyen during the working session yesterday in Hanoi.
At the working session, Prime Minister Nguyen highlights that to catch up with the fourth industrial revolution, first and foremost, there needs to change the approach to state governance. The Ministry of Information and Communications should take the lead in that process with breakthrough policies and mechanisms. The Ministry has asked Prime Minister for the building of strategy to develop the artificial intelligence, the core technology of the fourth industrial revolution. Besides, the Ministry has also asked the Prime Minister to consider the Vietnam's partnering with the World Economic Forum on the fourth industrial revolution. The Ministry of Information and Communications also proposes the construction of a number of labs and centers for the fourth industrial revolution in service of startup community located at the Post and Telecommunication Institute of Technology and the Korea Vietnam Partnership IT College.
In implementing the Central Military Commission's Resolution number 765 on improving training quality in the 2013-2020 period, over the past time, the General Staff of the Vietnam People's Army has directed agencies and units in the whole Army to focus on renovating 4 basic contents on training missions, in which all agencies and units need to make renovations from awareness to training contents, organizing and training methods suitable with conditions and missions of each unit and combat area.
Equipped with a wide range of modern patrol and rescue vessels, the Coast Guard Command has stayed active in applying simulation technology in its training activities for the mastery of operational principles and equipment on each vessel. This approach entails the officers and soldiers to engage in longer practicing time while helping save expenditures and training equipment. We've paid special attention to the mastery of new technical equipment for our troops. We've also made comprehensive renovations of the training work close to functions of the Coast Guard Force. Over the past time, units in the whole Army have practiced with combat situations of high-tech warfare to train soldiers. During training, the units have concentrated on improving troops' physical strength and night training so as to enhance interoperability and maneuverability of soldiers. We've actively researched and planned supplemental training programs for units. In doing so, the units will be competent enough to best utilize the effects of all equipped material and weapons. In addition to renovations in training work, the General Staff has steered agencies and units to innovate drills for better quality and safety. In details, the units have intensified combined exercises, live fire exercises, defensive area exercises and training activities, enhancing interoperability between regular troops and local forces in defensive areas. According to the Military Training Department, the improvement of exercise and training quality of the whole Army over the past time is resulted from the changes of thinking, awareness, direction, and management in training work. We've identified training work as a key political mission of the whole army under the leadership of the Central Military Commission, and this is the responsibility of all officers and soldiers to fulfill it. At present, the General Staff is renovating some contents in training work, exercises and competitions in the whole army. Over the past 5 years, the Ministry of National Defense has strengthened its investments in the construction of drill grounds, training areas and facilities so as to best serve training work.
To help soldiers who are ethnic minorities preserve and introduce the cultural beauty of their ethnic groups, thereby enhancing solidarity and understanding among troops of the unit, Regiment 174th Youth Union's chapter has established a club to introduce the cultural beauty of the northwestern region. After 1 year, the club has brought about many practical effects.
Every last Wednesday evening of the month, officers and soldiers at Regiment 174 enthusiastically introduce the cultural beauty of ethnic groups in the Northwest region. Each session is an hour long, with the main activities of performing arts or telling typical action stories of each ethnic group.
We've created a meaningful activity that attracts a large number of officers and soldiers who are ethnic minority to participate. From there, they will exchange, share, and understand each other more for better task performances.
Since joining this club, young soldier Trong has overcome his natural shyness to perform typical Hmong flute to his comrades during break time. Hmong boys use flute to call their friends, but among people from different ethnic groups, Trong uses it to convey the message of comradeship.
It is also a melody that helps the Hmong people to connect and love each other more. I feel very proud and happy as I have a chance to introduce the cultural beauty of my people to my comrades.
Besides our performances, the club also launched a movement to collect any poetry, musical instruments or items associated with the lives of ethnic groups in the Northwest region. After over a year of implementation, an exhibition area with 507 exhibits representing many ethnic groups has been established, attracting a large number of officers and soldiers. The club offers exchanges cultural performances with local youth union chapters.
For new soldiers, after a short period of time joining this club, they are assured to perform their duty. The spirit of solidarity and love for officers and soldiers from different ethnic groups is also strengthened.
The love for the fatherland can start with simple things, like loving the ethnic group's flute performance. And those simple things have always reminded these young soldiers to constantly strive to fulfill their assigned tasks.
Coming up next, 226th Emperor Guangchung's death anniversary mark. Danang attracts more investment to high-tech park. Yesterday, the temple to commemorate Emperor Guangchung on Zungquit Mountain in Nguyen province, a ceremony to mark 226th death anniversary of Emperor Guangchung took place.
The death anniversary celebration of Emperor Guangchung is a traditional cultural activity of people in Vinh City. The event is an opportunity to not only show the deep gratitude to the great national hero, but also to educate youngsters about the patriotism and contributions to the country. At the ceremony, the participants vowed to promote the national tradition of protecting and building the country. In the solemn atmosphere, the event features flowers and incense offering ceremonials and martial art, as well as show dancing performances.
Equitization of state-owned enterprises, public-private partnership in infrastructure, and startups in the fourth industrial revolution are expected to open up new opportunities for Japanese firms in the Vietnamese market. That's heard at the Vietnam-Japan Investment Cooperation Forum, recently held in Yokohama Port City, the Japanese prefecture of Kanagawa.
Vietnam is accelerating the implementation of the fourth industrial revolution to bring a startup ecosystem linking with regional and global markets, opening up great opportunities for Japanese enterprises in Vietnamese market, where people and business community are filled with confidence in the national economy. This is the fourth time the forum has been held within the framework of the Vietnam Festival in Kanagawa Prefecture, showing the support of the two sides for enterprises of the two countries. During the forum, representatives of the Vietnamese provinces of Hưng Yên, Long An and Hà Nam also take the occasion to present their local strengths and incentives for foreign investors. The forum is an opportunity for Japanese and Vietnamese businesses to exchange information and seek for investment cooperation, contributing to developing the Vietnam-Japan relations.
The strategic development orientation of Danang City by 2030, with a vision to 2045, is to become a central city and driving force for socio-economic development in the Central and Central Highlands regions. To achieve such goal, over the past years, local authorities have been actively developing strategies to attract investment, especially in the high-tech park. This is the highlight for the city to promote comprehensive development to become a nuclear city in the region and throughout the country.
Located near the city's seaports and international airports, with sufficient infrastructure and many incentives for investors, especially in tax and land rents. Those are some of the advantages for enterprises when investing in Danang High-Tech Park. The working environment and investment conditions at this high-tech park are favorable for our company to develop. Therefore, we've decided to invest in here. Over $250 million for 10 investment projects. Such results has shown that Danang's strategic vision is developing high-tech in accordance with local characteristics, along with harnessing advances of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. It's both an opportunity and a challenge for Danang City to be a pioneer. This is a strategic vision that requires big and competent investors, as well as a business community with good vision and ability to accompany the city's leadership and government in realizing the set goal. With a number of incentives for enterprises investing in the city's high-tech park, Danang City has shown its determination in the development of a clean and high-tech industry, while proving that the city is focusing on facilitating enterprises to implement the Year of Investment 2018.
In the modern life, where advanced technologies and equipment develop rapidly to serve humans, many items once familiar to people of the previous generations are at risk of falling into oblivion. Facing that situation, with a passion for such antiques, Mr. Nguyen in Minh Tân Ward, Yên Bai City has spent years devoutly collecting many of the items with an aim to preserve the traditional cultural values of the country. Let's visit his house, which has become a familiar destination for veterans to gather and educate youngsters about such values.
Every weekend or holiday, the house of Mr. Nguyen is crowded with students at Kim Dong Primary School. They come here not only to see with their own eyes the antiques once attached to the livelihood of the Vietnamese in the past, but to also learn more about their origins and cultural values.
Every year, we organize fact-finding trips for our students, and Mr. Luan's house is among the familiar destinations. The antiques kept in his house help educate the students about the livelihood in the past of Vietnamese people and the traditional values.
The 15 square meter house is where some 400 valuable antiques are preserved, including bronze trays and kettles, alcohol cookers, antique clocks, cameras and typewriters. All are dated back to the subsidy period or the 1950s.
To me, these items bear great values as they were once attached to the life and soul of people of the previous generations. Looking at them makes me really touched. Our lives develop rapidly, and we've left these items at risk of falling into oblivion. I want to collect and preserve them so that I can introduce to and remind people of the traditional cultural values of the country.
He spent the past 20 years traveling around Yên Bai province as well as other provinces of Điện Biên, Sơn La, Lào Cai or Lai Châu to study and collect the antiques, and he wishes to keep up the work as long as possible to contribute more to educating young generations about national values.
This is the end for QBVN News for today. Remember, you can always watch it again at qbvn.vn. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.